Hello, my name is Graham Stacey. Welcome to the Dons Trust Election Hustings 2025. Here I'm joined by James Ledward, who's standing for election to the board. We're going to be talking to him for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to ask him 4 questions, which we'll be asking all of the candidates, and asking him to limit his replies to about 2 minutes each. I'll then be asking him 1 question directly related to his manifesto and giving him around 3 minutes to talk about that. So, James, thanks for joining us. Could you first of all, in about 2 minutes, tell us a bit about yourself and why you're standing for election, please?
Yep, sure. Thank you, Graham. So just to introduce myself, I'm James Ledward. I live not too far from Plough Lane in Collier's Wood, and I'm a relatively new. I've been co-opted to the Dons Trust board since August, leading on the ED&I remit, but also taking on the Constitution and taking on that and driving it forward throughout this year. So it's been great to actually get to meet some of the members who are on that board and see all of the great work they've already done. I'm relatively new as a Wimbledon fan as well. I was very honest during my co-opting interview that I grew up in the Midlands. And what really appealed to me was having my local team on the doorstep again. So my local team, I won't I won't risk corrupting my vote by sharing who my local team was in the past in the Midlands, but when I lived nearby to them, it was great being able on match day to get there easily. That's not easy now, but also the benefit and um, positive impact that a football team can have on its local community. I miss having that feel from being close to my team. And that was one of the things that drew me to Wimbledon. And I don't regret it. I've loved every minute since. Um, Outside of football, I'm a massive Formula One fan, and I trained as an accountant, but I now work in financial reporting, risk, and governance. So that probably ties in with my arguably less sexy manifesto, which talks a lot about governance. But I think what is important there is it stands out as something different and realizing the need that needs to be addressed and taken seriously as part of the trust.
Great, thank you. Right, moving on to the 4 questions that we'll be asking all the candidates. First one, finance is a hot topic again this year. Fans have been asked to donate to various funds and the sale of equities being mooted once again. Are you a fan of fan ownership, firstly, and what would be your plan to make the club sustainable?
Yeah. So yes, I'm a fan of fan ownership. It's something that stands us apart, and we are a success story of fan ownership. It stops the wrong things that have happened in the past, and it means the fans are the final decision makers. So yes, I am a complete fan of fan ownership. In terms of sustainability, I do reference in my manifesto around making sure we make decisions that support the long term. And no one is going to say it's a bad thing that people are willing to donate their money. It is a brilliant thing, and the club and the board can only be thankful to people that are willing to do that. But I think everyone appreciates it. It's not enough to meet the club as we grow and what we need. And so I said in my manifesto, I support 50+1, but I only support it if it's done for the right reasons and in the right way. So it's not just saying we'll drop to 50+1 for some quick cash. It needs to be the right investor or investors who understand our vision, who understand what we as a club and as a fan-owned club stand for and are bought into that, and are ultimately willing to, they've got to be willing to put more than that initial share purchase. We need serious. If you look at what is going to be needed for us to push for the championship and the Premier League in the future, it requires people who are willing to go beyond the initial share purchase and really see the club as an investment and then reap the rewards of that investment. So, in terms of sustainability, my view is it's got to be the right investor who understands that and aligns with that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Next question. If you could change one thing about the Dons Trust's relationship with the club or the PLC, what would it be and why?
So I think the relationship itself is positive. It has to be a two-way communication, but we have to remember that we are the voice of the fans and we are there to give oversight and drive the strategy. In terms of what I would change, I think sometimes the board needs to, if feathers have to be ruffled, the board shouldn't shy away from that, but it should be done in the right way. And I think not being afraid of being that critical friend is something that the board has to always remember. It's very easy when there's personal relationships to let those play on your mind. And we're all human. But I think it's being willing to be critical in the right way as needed. But I do feel there is a very strong relationship between the PLC and the Dons Trust Board.
Great, thank you. How would you describe the Dons Trust standing amongst its 7,000 or so members, and how might you seek to improve that?
So we need to acknowledge that there has been some challenges recently, particularly around the election. As a candidate, I wasn't involved, so I can't nor would I comment on whether right or wrong decisions were made. But there is always this challenge around accountability and are the board delivering for the members? And I think one thing I've seen since being co-opted is it's not clear to the average member what the board's strategy is and how that is measured. There's been work to define the strategy, that's great. But how is it being tracked? What are the KPIs? How do we show success to the members in a real tangible way that they can say, you said you would do this and you've not met it? So attendance at board meetings. I'm not going to put numbers on what I think the number should be, but basic KPIs, attendance at board meetings, always having the kiosk manned every single match. Completion of the FSA training so that as board members, we've done the required training to be effective in our roles. We say we want to grow the membership. How much? How are we measuring that? We say we want to increase diversity in the membership. Well, do we even know the current diversity? From what I've seen at the moment, no. So in order to improve that relationship, we need to be able to be very clear with the members and say, this is our strategy and this is how we measure it. And you hold us account to these things that we are going to measure, and be very transparent about how we're hitting it. And that will be in the minutes, it will be in updates, it will be whatever way is the best way of communicating that. And I think that would be an effective way of building on the relationship between the board and the members, but also enhancing it by giving them something tangible that they can measure against.
Great stuff. Thank you. Okay, last of the first four questions. The Dons Trust operates under an MO of collective responsibility. That can leave fans wondering who's aligned with their views and who is less so. Are you in favour of this, or would you be open to communicating your thoughts on subjects even when they don't fall in line with the majority of the board?
I think I'm aligned with it, but I feel you should have, I mean, when there's votes recorded, unless it's a confidential matter, my understanding is that it is shared who voted which way. So that is a transparent way of showing who voted which way. What we do have to remember is the board is a team at the end of the day. And if a decision is made, we should not undermine the ability of that team to deliver by briefing our views separately and looking like we're not working as one unified board. Because that is when delivery stalls, is when you lose trust between board members, and it can be a very slippery slope very quickly. So I'm in favor of collective responsibility. I'm in favor of everyone on the board having their view and sharing it in the right way, but also remembering that the board is there to deliver. And if an elected board makes a decision, then everyone on the board has to get behind that and support it.
Great. Okay, now that's the first 4 questions done. I'm going to ask you a question relating to your manifesto. In your manifesto, you say you stand for financial decisions that protect our long-term sustainability and independence. Could you give us some examples of what kind of decisions these might be and how they may protect our long-term sustainability?
Yeah. So in terms of the independence point, first of all, 50+1. I've said I support that. I would never, ever support anything below that. I don't think there are many people in the club that would. But 50+1 is a dilution of our ownership. And yes, to a number that is scarily close to not majority. So any decision, when I refer to sustainability and independence, it speaks to what I said at the start. The decisions need to be the right investors at a sensible shareholding, that they are enticed to support the vision and put more investment in if needed. But also we've got to remember as well, you've got a difference between ownership and voting rights. And it's the voting rights that is more important for the trust to maintain, because that's where the decision-making power sits. So that maintains our independence. It keeps us fan-owned, and it means that we continue to operate as we do now. I am completely against bringing in an investor just for some quick cash. That is great. It has a 1 year bump to the P&L, and then we're left a year later in the same situation. I also think that any investment a share of that needs to be exactly that. So when I talk about the long term, how do we increase the capacity in Plough Lane? More people in, more ticket sales, better atmosphere. The atmosphere is great, to be clear, but even better atmosphere, more fans, more people that are engaging with the club, and then a better positive impact on the community around it as well. We do a huge amount as a club through the foundation and through the action group to really have a positive impact on the broader community. The more people that we have as fans, the more people there are to get involved in that, and the greater the positive impact on the surrounding area.
Great. That's fantastic. Thank you very much, James Ledward. All the best in the election. You can catch all the hustings on YouTube, and don't forget to check the donstrust.org for more details of the election and all the candidate manifestos. In the meantime, thank you for joining us, and hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.